Abercrombie-Winstanley, US diplomat and Middle East analyst. Gina, pleasure to have you on the show this evening. Thank you for joining us. We're hoping to hear a bit more from President Trump about whether or not his aim is still regime change, because when Caroline Levitt was asked about it earlier, she avoided that and said that that was not a guarantee. Trump was clear going into this that that's what he wanted. Do you think that will still be on the table?
Thank you for having me, and the short answer is no. Certainly that was uppermost in the president's and others' explanations early on, but as the conflict has continued, it has become clear to the administration that that is going to be far easier said than done. The ability of certainly airstrikes alone clearly have not led to that in, the day 5, I think we are in at this point. And the administration has done several recalibrations of its explanation of why we have attacked Iran. There are easier goals to meet, and certainly the president would likely be amenable to something along the Venezuela example of finding someone within even the current regime that is willing to agree to U.S. demands on the ballistic missile program, on support for proxies, as well as the nuclear program. So that is not surprisingly, I don't expect to be hearing much about regime change in the coming days.
We heard the US president urging the Iranian people to take control of their government. How do you think they'll be feeling, possibly hearing the news if it can get to them? We know there's a media blackout there at the moment, that actually regime change, the US now considering that may not in fact be possible. Will it still be possible, therefore, for the Iranian people to rise up in the way that the president encouraged them to?
Well, if it does get to them, I believe many will not be surprised. We have to keep in mind that the president was urging them to stand up and resist their government when demonstrations broke out, a few weeks ago, and that if many were killed, that the United States would come to their aid. And of course, he did not. So they have already had that experience of hearing big words from President Trump, but not seeing action. So this time around, yes, the United States did indeed take out the supreme leader, but that does not set the stage for a successful uprising. In addition to the fact that the IRGC, the military, still have all the weapons and people do not. They haven't, the IRGC, the military have made no signs of surrendering, as President Trump has asked them to do, and it's not clear where they should surrender in any event. So the stage is not set, and I believe it will make them far more cautious about rising up without a great deal more hits, of course, on the military, to softening up and indications rather that the military is ready to switch sides, and that is not the case yet.
Yeah. And Gina, how likely do you think it is, therefore, that the administration will achieve what now seems to be their number one priority, which is preventing Tehran from having a nuclear weapon?
Well, keeping in mind that that likely could have been achieved without war, according to the Omani foreign minister, I believe that that is likely to be achieved, but that there will be many questions about the cost, not only to Iranian civilians, to their infrastructure, but for Americans, for the military, the expenditure of armaments, and of course the loss of American lives, and perhaps others, if indeed the reporting that the Kurds may join this conflict, there will be loss to other lives as well. And we have to keep in mind all the countries in the Gulf and beyond that have been hit by Iranian armaments.
And what does history teach us about these types of conflicts in the Middle East? What could the impacts long term be here?
We have too many examples. Iraq comes immediately to mind. While largely peaceful now, it took years for that semblance of stability to return. We have the example of Libya, which still is not a stable country. We have Afghanistan. Um, the Kurds, quite frankly, have multiple experiences of the United States partnering and then abandoning their cause. So history does not suggest that this is going to have a happy ending, and certainly not a quick happy ending.
Gina, really appreciate your time this evening. Thanks so much for joining us.
My
That's Gina
pleasure.
Abercrombie-Winstanley, US diplomat.